Marcosatsu.
I'm sure most of us like playing as monsters when we were younger. You know, like grabbing your toys, bashing them together like it's a kaiju battle.
Media such as Ultraman and Godzilla bring me back to those days, but what if you wanted to play as the kaiju?
We've gotten Henshin Hero video games with Beautiful Joe, Chroma Squad, and straight up just Kamen Rider. Kaiju games, however, I really only know of a handful, and played even less. Let's see, there's of course the Godzilla games, Godzilla for the PS... Wait, how much does it go for? Rampage, that's a great one. Total Destruction on GameCube gives that classic arcade feel. Override is cool, though I don't see it get talked about much, despite it even having Ultraman. The anime version, weirdly enough. If there's a kaiju game I long for, it would be an arcade tournament fighter, something like the Super Famicom Godzilla games. Maybe today's topic will achieve my dreams. Here's Dawn of the Monsters.
I hope this isn't a bad thing to say, but I've actually never heard of this game before, at least not in passing, until the CEO of 13am Games reached out to me on Twitter asking me if I'd like to try it.
Alright, so we'll download it on Steam, and man, this banner was the first thing I've ever seen from the game, and does it give a great impression. Oh, they have plushies too.
I may be playing on a PC, but you know what they say. Real Yakuza, use a gamepad. Oh, it's a beat 'em up.
チームを撃破するため退避している。遠慮はいらない。周りのあらゆるものを使い、奴らを。アリンコみたいにぺしゃんこに
The genre has never been my thing. At least I never found one I actually like playing, so I'll just stay cautiously optimistic.
1 hour later.
That was one of the coolest games I've ever played.
It's more than just a kaiju beat 'em up. This is a love letter to tokusatsu as a whole. Okay, so basically, kaiju called Nephilim are attacking Earth, so it's up to the Dawn organization to fight back. At first, the premise seems like something out of Pacific Rim or Heisei Ultraman, but much like the medium they're based on, this is all about the characters. We follow newcomer Jamila Senai, piloting Tempest Galahad, and alongside her is Eiji Murasame, who doesn't pilot a mech, but rather transforms into the giant known as Aegis Prime. Plus, 2 kaiju join their side, Megadon and Ganira. As you can tell, they each reference a certain side of tokusatsu, Tempest Galahad being a mecha, Aegis Prime is Ultraman, Megadon is Godzilla, or even a bit of Destroya. And I think Ganira is supposed to be the Gamera, though I'm not 100% on that. These are the 4 main giants you get to play as, but as I mentioned, the characters are really good on their own. Jamila is the stern newbie trying to find her place in this crazy world, while Eiji is the laid-back guy who just doesn't want to do paperwork. It's actually kind of funny to see them interact with other people in the Dawn organization.
Oh man, Victor, you and your acronyms. You mean the leptonic ultra radioactive emitter stuff?
Oh god, I just got it.
It's not all banter though, since even the serious moments are just as great, like how Eiji has been fighting kaiju for so long that he questions having 2 of their own kaiju fight with them. Maybe I'm just a sucker for the seen it all, done it all type of character, but clearly, Eiji is my favorite.
Not that I'm favoring Ultraman for any reason or anything.
With that said, we all know Toku is way more than just story and characters, so how's the action? My gosh, this game is gorgeous. From the opening cinematic to the special attacks and even the menus, this game looks like a comic book or manga brought to life. It helps so much that the overall designs for the characters and giants are just really good. I think some enemy kaiju look a little generic, but I think that was the point when they're just fodder, and the big boss kaiju at least stand out. It's also really impressive when the models and such are made in 3D to look 2D, much like how Spider-Verse is animated. While Dawn of the Monsters was created by 13am Games, it was published by WayForward, who are known for having a lot of style and flair in their projects, so it makes sense to me that this game would be pure eye candy. If a Toku adjacent video game isn't a one-on-one fighter, then a beat 'em up would be the next best choice of genre. Kamen Rider and Ultraman did have a couple of those back in the Super Famicom era, so I'm glad to see this game take that approach. Gameplay wise, you just move to the right and beat up kaiju along the way with your light, medium, and heavy attacks. It's simple enough and the controls are responsive, which is basically the only thing I ask for. Then you add in a parry mechanic and I start to cry. I'm just terrible at parry mechanics no matter what kind of game, but it feels so good seeing that flash of light when you get the right timing. And lastly, there are augments that add to your stats. I didn't really notice a difference, but hey, they're here and the art is cool. Of course, I didn't forget the special attacks and finishers. These are also amazing. I especially love Ganida's finisher. There's just a lot of love and care put into this game, referencing basically everything you can think of in one way or another. You can see a lot of these references in the palette colors, like there's one for Aegis Prime that's the Kamen Rider colors, there are a few for Gundam, Evangelion, and my personal favorite, the Gurren Lagann colors. It's even called Drill. That's amazing. Oh, and the sketch option is also beautiful. It's just a black and white color scheme, but I want to see this done more often, so it can really give that full manga aesthetic. And hey, there's even voice options for English and Japanese.
Our scout drones have confirmed the presence of a Nephilim nest deep within enemy territory.
気にすんなって。ほら来いよ。指令室はこっちだぜ。
They definitely didn't have to do that, but it just goes to show the extra care put into giving you the full kaiju experience. One little thing I do like about the English voice acting is that they do try to pronounce Japanese names in Japanese, so thank you for that. Okay, one last thing. A lot of extra skins and Japanese voices came from a free update, and you can get some extra game modes with the arcade edition of the game, though the star of the post-release content is the character DLC. Luckily, I was also given early access to probably the coolest character in the game, Meteor Temujin. If the others were references to certain toku, then this is clearly the Super Sentai Power Rangers of the cast. It was created after fans voted for what the DLC should be, and I'm really glad it was this one. My only personal thing is that as far as I know, there isn't really anything story-wise related to them unless you read into the archive. And they're not fully integrated into the story mode either, but hey, it's just a character DLC and I'm fine with what we have here. An interesting part of Meteor Temujin is that it changes weapons after every special attack, which isn't something I've seen before. And basically the DLC is just great in general. There's a lot of post-game content. There's even a new game plus, like, come on, that's cool.
I do wish I could go more into detail about this game, but I'm saving a lot of it for you because I actually do recommend it. Even if you're not into beat 'em ups, but you're still a fan of Tokusatsu as a whole, whether it's mecha, kaiju, Ultraman, you owe it to yourself to play this game. It has pretty much everything I would personally love, and I'm not even into beat 'em ups. So, with that being said, you should go out and try Dawn of the Monsters.